Mark Henry, Brian Pillman, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. You done good. You done good.
Got him!
Got him. Mark Henry's retirement speech. Let's talk about it. One of the GOATs, Hall of Famer, he had us all shook. Prior to the event, he was tweeting, letting all his sports figure friends know, hey, check out Raw tonight. I got a big announcement. I remember reading his tweet before he even came out, and I knew where he was leading with this, but I didn't want to believe it until he came out in that pink blazer. He comes out visibly emotional, cuts a hell of a promo. A hell of a promo. I think John Cena was already out there. I can't remember, or yeah, he was already out there. And the interesting fact about this is that John Cena didn't even know. He cuts a promo, talks about, his accomplishments and how much he loves the business and his family who's been sitting there sticking with him. While his wife's at home taking care of the kids and he on the road busting his ass for all these years. He stated that he's pretty much won every title that there was to win in the WWE, except for that WWE Championship. John Cena takes his WWE Championship, puts it over Mark Henry's shoulder. Mark Henry starts bawling after that. John Cena raises his hands in the air. I couldn't believe it. We're about to see Mark Henry leave. His final statement was to his daughter, Daddy's coming home. I'm sitting here like, no, one of my GOATs, one of my favorites. Middle of the ring, got his hand raised with the WWE champion, John Cena. Go in for a hug. Next thing you know, the world's strongest slam. And he's looking down on John Cena and he's telling him, you thought that was it? I got a lot left in the tank. He takes John Cena WWE Championship and throws it on him. He lets him know, that'll be mine soon. Man, listen. While everybody's in that arena sad, pretty much in tears, thinking that Mark Henry is gone abruptly, that World's Strongest Slam woke that building up. It woke that building up. I jumped out of my seat like a little kid. Yes, yes, yes. It was perfect. It was perfect. I don't know who thought of it. I don't know the idea behind it. I don't know, but I do know that they got me. They got the world. They got everybody shook. The only thing that I got a problem with that is that he had his WWE Championship title shot against John Cena after that, and they fumbled. Mark Henry should have won that title after that. He should have won that championship after that. But kudos to the world's strongest man for giving me a memorable moment that I'll never forget. Mark, you got us all.
Listen, man. That is one of the absolute best swerves in professional wrestling. I remember Mark Henry tweeting. He was atting everybody. Tune in tonight. Tune in tonight. Made me tune in tonight. It was unexpected. Maybe it was best that you didn't tell John Cena because there was nothing that could have been done better in that moment with Mark Henry. He got us. He got us all. I don't even know if his family knew. That's something you keep close to the chest in that pink salmon suit jacket. Mark Henry is a legend, and that was a legendary moment. And you're right. It got us. It got us all.
Got him!
Listen, there was a point in my life that I thought Brian Pillman shot Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I prepared a statement. Listen, and the reason I believed it is because of everything that led up to the moment. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin becoming one of the most dangerous, disrespectful, and unpredictable men in wrestling. Then you had Brian Pillman, the loose cannon, a man who looked like he was one bad day away from losing his mind. So week after week, the rivalry got more personal, more intense, and more uncomfortable to watch. Pillman wasn't acting like a normal wrestler. He was threatening people, screaming at announcers, insulting Stone Cold Steve Austin every chance he got. But this Stone Cold Steve Austin we talking about. Austin wasn't backing down. He was hunting Brian Pillman down, calling him out, making it clear that sooner or later, I'm going to get you. So when Stone Cold decided he was going to show up at Brian Pillman's house, that's when it got all too real. Brian Pillman was home from an injury in his house with his wife on a couch, terrified. The camera crew is there. The tension is building. Brian Pillman has a gun. Stone Cold shows up. All hell breaks loose. Stone Cold breaks into the house. Brian Pillman pulls out a gun. Bang! Screen goes crazy. It's shaking. It's trembling. The feed cut. Blacked out for a second. People screaming. And I'm sitting there as a kid. Oh my God. Brian Pillman just shot Stone Cold Steve Austin on live TV. Now listen. It wasn't wrestling like it is today. There was no social media, no dirt sheets in the palm of your hand, no YouTube breakdowns 5 minutes after explaining what happened. If you were a fan, you had to wait till next week to find out what was going on. And guess what? I sat for a week thinking Brian Pillman shot Stone Cold Steve Austin. You couldn't tell me otherwise. Brian Pillman was like that. And I thought he was crazy enough to do it. I wasn't questioning production decisions. I wasn't wondering about television standards. I wasn't thinking about lawsuits. I was thinking Brian Pillman shot Stone Cold Steve Austin. Looking back at it now, it's one of the greatest examples of when wrestling blurs the lines, reality, fiction. It's controversial. It's chaotic. It was outrageous. And for one moment, Brian Pillman had me believing that Stone Cold Steve Austin got shot on national television. That's how good the loose cannon Brian Pillman was. That's how good wrestling used to be at making us suspend disbelief. And I know I wasn't the only one. And it leads me to the two most humbling words in professional wrestling, FTZ. Got him, because they for certainly got me. I thought Brian Pillman had killed Stone Cold Steve Austin. And rest in peace to the late, great, flying Brian Pillman. But they got me, FTZ.
They got me too. Rest in peace to Brian Pillman. I gotta say, he needs to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm with you. I I thought Steve Austin was dead. I was so driven into this segment, or it wasn't even a segment. There was multiple segments that night about that. Um, the reason why I was into it so much is because I grew up watching WCW as well, and I remember the Hollywood Blondes. I remember flying Brian Pillman. I remember their tag team tandem and their relationship, and it what made it seem so real is that there wasn't no social media, and I'm glad that there wasn't. I'm glad that there wasn't. Brian Pillman set the bar when it came to blurring the lines. Whether it was in WCW when he came out and just went off the script and started fighting Kevin Sullivan in that ring and whooping him with the belt or whatever it was, a strap. I remember him playing with Bobby the Brain Heenan outside the ring and he made Bobby Heenan cuss. Brian Pillman created his own character.
We need
He
to
came
do a
in.
whole show about Brian
We
Pillman.
need to do a whole show about Brian Pillman because I can talk so much about him. But on that night, man,
Got us.
I remember Stone Cold outside that house and he was beating up on Brian Pillman's friends, throwing them everywhere, having a hard time trying to break through that door. As soon as he went through that door, I would never forget the eyes. Brian Pillman's eyes as he's holding that, what do you call it? Pillman Glock 316, whatever
He
the heck he
said
said.
something, play on Austin 316.
Yeah,
And
he had said something, and I was just like,
if you
"Oh,
haven't seen it, go
please,
watch Stone
please,
Cold Steve Austin, Brian Pillman's
oh,
feud rivalry, but that one particular segment when he broke into the house, and you too will be got. Rest
yes,
in peace to the legend that is Brian
rest
Pillman.
in peace, Brian Pillman. Rest in
Got
peace,
us.
goddess."
Got him!